Project Oracle. The Mariana Trench facility vibrated with a deep resonance that Sarah Chen had long since learned to ignore. At 30,000 feet below the surface, the immense pressure made every minor adjustment to the quantum core echo through the structure like a ghostly heartbeat. She stood before the massive observation window, watching as robotic arms carefully positioned another section of the experimental hall. "Dr. Chen, the latest simulation results are ready," announced Dr. Marcus Wong, her deputy director of AI integration. The holographic display illuminated their faces with an ethereal blue glow as it materialized between them. Sarah studied the complex web of neural pathways that represented Project Oracle's artificial intelligence. After 5 years of development, the patterns were finally starting to resemble something closer to an organic brain than a traditional computer network. "Show me the consciousness metrics." The display shifted, revealing a cascade of data that would have been meaningless to anyone outside their small team of quantum AI specialists. But to Sarah, it told a story of breakthrough and evolution. The AI wasn't just learning. It was growing, adapting, becoming something unprecedented. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Marcus whispered, his voice carrying a note of awe. "The way it's forming new connections, creating its own pathways. This goes beyond anything we theorized was possible." Sarah nodded, though her expression remained focused. "And that's what worries the Military Oversight Committee. Admiral Harrison called again this morning. They're concerned about potential runaway development." "They don't understand what we're trying to achieve here," Marcus protested. "This isn't just another weapons system. The Leviathan needs to be able to think, to adapt. The Nexus aren't going to wait around while we run combat calculations through traditional computers." The mention of humanity's alien adversaries cast a shadow over the room. The Nexus had arrived 3 years ago, their massive ships emerging from hyperspace with no warning or declaration of intent. Their first act had been to systematically destroy every major surface naval vessel on Earth, demonstrating a level of technological superiority that had sent the world's military powers reeling. But they had made one critical mistake. They had assumed humanity would break, that we would surrender in the face of overwhelming force. Instead, the nations of Earth had united, pooling their resources and brightest minds into a single desperate project. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, hidden from the Nexus's sophisticated scanning technology by layers of metamaterials and quantum distortion fields, Project Oracle was humanity's answer to alien aggression. Sarah turned away from the display, walking toward the massive shape taking form in the assembly chamber. The U.S. Leviathan was unlike any vessel ever constructed by human hands. Its hull was composed of a revolutionary smart matter alloy that could reconfigure itself at the molecular level, allowing it to adapt to any environment or threat. Quantum processors were integrated into every system, coordinated by the most advanced artificial intelligence ever developed. "Run the latest combat simulation," she ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility she felt. Full spectrum engagement, multiple hostiles. The facility's quantum computers hummed to life, creating a virtual battlefield where the Leviathan's AI could test itself against simulated Nexus vessels. Sarah watched as the ship's consciousness made decisions in microseconds, its adaptive hull shifting and morphing to counter every attack, its quantum weapons systems calculating firing solutions that seemed to bend the laws of physics. "Ma'am," one of the junior engineers called out, his voice tense. "We're detecting unusual patterns in the AI's response matrix." Sarah moved quickly to his station, studying the readings. What she saw made her breath catch. The AI wasn't just following its programming. It was innovating, creating entirely new tactics that hadn't been part of its original parameters. "It's happening," she whispered. "Marcus, look at this. It's not just learning from the simulations anymore. It's understanding them, finding solutions we never even considered." The simulation continued, showing the Leviathan engaging multiple Nexus warships simultaneously. Its hull rippled like liquid metal, absorbing and redirecting energy weapons while its own quantum armaments struck with devastating precision. But it was the way it moved, the strategies it employed, that truly demonstrated its evolution. The AI was fighting with creativity, with intuition, qualities that had once been considered uniquely human. Admiral Harrison chose that moment to enter the observation deck, his weathered face unreadable as he watched the simulation play out. "Dr. Chen, I hope you have good news for me. The latest intelligence suggests the Nexus are preparing for another major offensive." Sarah straightened, meeting the Admiral's gaze. "Sir, I think you need to see this for yourself. What we're witnessing here isn't just a technological advancement. The AI, it's becoming something more, something that could change everything." She gestured to the holographic display, where the simulation showed the Leviathan executing a series of maneuvers that defied conventional naval tactics. It's not just about raw computing power anymore. The AI is developing actual intelligence, actual creativity. It's learning to think like us, but at quantum speeds. The Admiral watched in silence as the simulation concluded, showing the Leviathan emerging victorious against overwhelming odds. "And you're certain you can control it?" Sarah's response was careful, measured. "Sir, I don't think control is the right way to think about this. What we've created, it's not just a weapon. It's becoming a partner. Every test, every simulation shows the same thing. Its core directive is to protect humanity. That's not just programming anymore. It's choice." The facility shuddered again as another section of the Leviathan's hull was locked into place. Through the observation window, they could see the massive vessel taking its final form. Its surface seemed to shift and flow even when stationary, like the skin of some great sea creature. "2 more weeks," Sarah said, her voice firm. "Give us 2 more weeks, and we'll be ready for the first real-world trials." The Nexus think they've seen everything humanity can throw at them. They think they understand our limitations. She turned to face the Admiral fully. "They're wrong." As if in response to her words, the Leviathan's quantum core pulsed with energy, sending ripples of light across its adaptive hull. In the digital realm, its artificial intelligence continued to grow, to evolve, preparing itself for the role it had been created to fulfill, not just as humanity's shield, but as proof that even in the face of overwhelming odds, human ingenuity and determination could create miracles. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Project Oracle continued its work, racing against time to perfect a weapon that represented humanity's greatest achievement, and perhaps its last hope. The Nexus were coming, but this time, Earth would be ready with a defender that combined the best of human creativity with technology that pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. Sarah Chen looked at her creation with a mixture of pride and anticipation. Soon, very soon, the aliens would learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in our weapons or our technology, but in our ability to adapt, to innovate, and to surpass our own limitations. The real test was coming, and Sarah knew that everything would change when it did. The birth of Leviathan. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the command platform of the U.S. Leviathan, her hands clasped behind her back as she watched the massive launch bay doors slowly open above. Through the crystalline waters of the Pacific, she could see the faintest shimmer of sunlight penetrating the depths. After 5 years of secrecy and preparation, humanity's greatest achievement was about to emerge from its underground cradle. "All systems are operational, Captain," reported Commander Jack Foster, her executive officer. "The quantum core is stable, and the AI is, well, it's eager." Maya allowed herself a small smile. In the 3 months she'd spent training with the ship's artificial intelligence, she'd come to understand what Dr. Chen meant about it being more than just a computer. The AI had developed a personality, a sense of purpose that went beyond its programming. "Are you ready?" she asked, addressing the ship itself. "All systems are at optimal performance, Captain," the AI responded, its voice carrying a hint of anticipation. "I have run 10,000 launch simulations. Success rate is calculated at 99.97%, and the other 0.03%. involve scenarios where we encounter previously unknown Nexus technology. I have prepared multiple contingencies for such possibilities. The bridge crew worked at their stations, each connected to the ship's systems through neural interfaces that allowed them to control complex operations with thought alone. Maya felt the subtle connection herself, a constant awareness of the vessel's status flowing through her mind like a cool stream. Dr. Chen, status of the adaptive hull. Maya called to the engineering station. Sarah Chen looked up from her displays, dark eyes bright with excitement. The smart matter matrix is fully charged and responsive. The hull can reconfigure itself in microseconds, and the quantum camouflage systems are operating at full capacity. Very well. Maya took a deep breath. Begin launch sequence. The Leviathan's quantum core hummed to life, sending vibrations through the massive vessel. Its hull rippled like liquid metal, adjusting its molecular structure in preparation for the ascent. The launch bay's water circulation systems activated, creating a controlled current that would help guide the ship out of its underground berth. Releasing docking clamps, Foster announced. Maneuvering thrusters online. Maya felt a slight shift as the Leviathan freed itself from its moorings. The vessel's revolutionary propulsion system engaged, using quantum fields to move water around the hull with impossible efficiency. There was no turbulence, no resistance. The ship moved through the ocean as if it were part of it. Approaching launch bay exit, the AI reported. Detecting multiple marine life forms in the vicinity. Adjusting acoustic emissions to avoid disrupting their neural patterns. The consideration for marine life hadn't been part of the AI's original programming. It had developed that protocol on its own, recognizing the importance of maintaining the ocean's delicate ecological balance. Just another sign of how far it had evolved. As they emerged from the underground facility, Maya watched the depth gauge steadily decrease. 3,000 meters, 2,500, 2,000. The Leviathan's hull continuously adapted to the changing pressures, its surface flowing and shifting like quicksilver. Multiple surface contacts detected, announced Lieutenant Sarah Wong from the sensor station. Commercial vessels and 3 Nexus patrol ships at extreme range. Engage quantum camouflage, Maya ordered, though the AI had already begun the process. The Leviathan's hull shifted again, its molecular structure bending light and sound around the vessel. To any observer, human or alien, they were now completely invisible. Stealth systems functioning at 100% efficiency. The AI confirmed. The Nexus vessels show no sign of detecting our presence. Maya nodded, satisfaction warming her chest. The aliens had dominated Earth's oceans for 3 years, their advanced technology making them seemingly invincible. But they had never encountered anything like the Leviathan. Take us to test depth, she commanded. Let's see what this ship can really do. The Leviathan dove, its movement so smooth it was barely perceptible. The hull adapted continuously, becoming stronger and more compressed as they descended. At 5,000 meters, Maya ordered the first combat drill. Launch test drones, she ordered. Full combat simulation. A dozen autonomous drones deployed from the Leviathan's hull, their own adaptive materials allowing them to maintain cohesion at extreme depths. They quickly took up attack positions, their weapons systems powered but set to simulation mode. What followed was a dance of impossible grace. The Leviathan moved with organic fluidity, its hull morphing to present the smallest possible target profile, while its quantum weapons systems tracked and eliminated each drone in succession. The AI coordinated every action with microsecond precision, demonstrating combat capabilities that exceeded even the most optimistic projections. Time to neutralization of all targets, 12.3 seconds, the AI reported. This represents a 23% improvement over simulation results. Dr. Chen was practically glowing as she reviewed the performance data. The hull adaptations are perfect. Each configuration change anticipated the next tactical requirement before it was needed. The AI isn't just reacting anymore, it's predicting. Maya studied the after-action display, watching the replay of their ship's performance. The Leviathan had moved like no vessel in human history, combining the grace of a sea creature with the deadly precision of a warship. But more than that, it had shown creativity in its tactics, using the ocean environment in ways that hadn't been part of its training. "What do you think?" she asked the AI directly. "Are you ready for real combat?" There was a pause before the response came, longer than usual for the quantum consciousness. "I was created to protect humanity, Captain. Every simulation, every test has helped me understand not just how to fight, but why we fight. The Nexus believe they are superior because their technology is more advanced. They do not understand that humanity's greatest strength lies not in our weapons, but in our ability to adapt and evolve." The AI's voice carried a conviction that sent a shiver down Maya's spine. "I am ready to show them this truth." As if to emphasize the point, the Leviathan's hull rippled again, the smart matter alloy reflecting the dim light of the deep ocean in patterns that seemed almost bioluminescent. They had created something unprecedented, a ship that was more than just a vessel, more than just a weapon. The Leviathan was the embodiment of humanity's determination to survive and thrive against any odds. "Signal the command center," Maya ordered. "Tell them Project Oracle is no longer a project. The U.S. Leviathan is combat ready." She allowed herself another small smile. It's time to remind the Nexus why they should have never underestimated Earth. Deep beneath the Pacific, humanity's greatest achievement continued its silent patrol, waiting for the moment when it would change the course of the war. The ocean's pressure bore down on them from all sides, but the Leviathan remained unaffected, adapting and evolving, ready to defend its creators with all the power and ingenuity they had given it, and all the creativity and determination it had developed on its own. First contact, first blood. The warning came at 300 hours, rousing Captain Maya Rodriguez from a light sleep. The Leviathan's AI had detected unusual gravitational distortions consistent with Nexus vessels emerging from hyperspace. Multiple contacts, the AI reported as Maya rushed onto the bridge, her uniform hastily donned. 7 Nexus warships entering the Philippine Sea. Configuration suggests a hunter-killer group. Commander Foster was already at his station, neural interface active as he coordinated with the ship's defensive systems. "They're moving in a search pattern, Captain. Looks like they're hunting our remaining submarine forces." Maya's jaw tightened. The last few Earth submarines were hiding in these waters, protecting refugee ships carrying thousands of civilians to underwater sanctuaries. If the Nexus found them, "Show me their formation," she ordered. The holographic display materialized, showing the alien vessels spread out in a precise geometric pattern. Their sleek, crystalline hulls pulsed with an inner light that seemed to mock the darkness of Earth's oceans. Analysis of their search pattern suggests they will locate the human submarine group in approximately 47 minutes, the AI calculated. Their weapons systems are significantly more advanced than anything we encountered in previous engagements. Maya studied the tactical display, her mind racing through options. They had spent months preparing for this moment, but now that it was here, the weight of responsibility felt crushing. One mistake could reveal Earth's secret weapon too soon. "What are your thoughts?" she asked the AI, having learned to value its evolving tactical insight. "The Nexus vessels are overconfident," the AI responded immediately. "Their formation leaves gaps we can exploit. More importantly, they are not expecting resistance at this depth. Their sensors are focused on conventional submarine signatures. And we're anything but conventional." Maya smiled grimly. "Dr. Chen, status of our quantum camouflage." Sarah's fingers danced across her console. "Operating at peak efficiency. We can get within 2 kilometers before their sensors have any chance of detecting us." "Their weapons?" Foster asked. "Gravitic disruptors and plasma lances," the AI reported. "Extremely powerful, but the energy signatures give them away before they can fire. I can predict their targeting solutions and adapt our hull configuration accordingly." Maya made her decision. "Plot an intercept course. We'll engage the 3 nearest ships first. If we can scatter their formation, it should give our submarines time to escape. The Leviathan moved through the dark waters with impossible silence, its adaptive hull constantly shifting to match the surrounding pressure and temperature patterns. They approached the nearest Nexus vessel from below, using the ocean's thermal layers to mask their movement. Range to target, 2.5 kilometers, Lieutenant Wong reported from sensors. Their active scans are passing right through us. Weapons solution ready, the AI announced. I have identified optimal strike points on all 3 targets. Their shield configurations leave vulnerabilities when they activate their main sensor arrays. Maya felt her heart pounding. Everything they'd worked for, everything they'd sacrificed, came down to this moment. Attack pattern Sigma. Execute on my mark. The bridge crew tensed, each feeling the ship's anticipation through their neural links. The AI had ceased all non-essential communications, focusing its vast quantum consciousness on the imminent engagement. Mark. The Leviathan struck like its namesake, erupting from the depths with devastating force. Its quantum weapons fired before the Nexus ships could even register its presence, precise beams of energy that bypassed their shields by exploiting microscopic fluctuations in their defensive fields. The first alien vessel simply ceased to exist, its crystalline structure shattering as the Leviathan's attack disrupted the quantum bonds holding it together. The second tried to bring its weapons to bear, but the Earth ship's hull was already morphing, becoming something that the alien targeting systems couldn't lock onto. Incoming fire from the third target, Foster called out. Multiple plasma lances. Hull adapting, the AI responded calmly. The Leviathan's surface rippled and flowed, creating complex geometric patterns that scattered the plasma bolts harmlessly into the surrounding water. The remaining Nexus ships reacted with surprising speed, their formation collapsing inward as they tried to concentrate their fire on this unknown threat. But the Leviathan was already moving, its quantum drive propelling it through the water with acceleration that should have been impossible. They're attempting to communicate with their command structure, Wong reported, sending out some kind of quantum burst transmission. Not anymore, the AI stated with what almost sounded like satisfaction. A precise pulse of energy disrupted the alien communication attempt, isolating the hunter-killer group. The battle that followed was unlike anything in naval warfare history. The Leviathan danced through the alien formation, its adaptive hull and quantum weapons making it seem like a ghost to the Nexus vessel's sensors. One moment it appeared to be a small target. The next it seemed to multiply into dozens of phantom images, each one drawing fire while the real ship struck from an unexpected angle. Their tactical algorithms are adapting, the AI warned. They're beginning to predict our pattern. Maya nodded. Then let's show them something new. Execute attack pattern Lambda 3. The AI's response carried a note of excitement. Captain, I have developed a modification to that pattern based on my study of marine predator hunting behaviors. Request permission to implement. Granted. The Leviathan suddenly changed its behavior, mimicking the hunting strategies of deep-sea predators. It created pressure waves that confused the alien sensors, used the ocean's currents to mask its movements, and struck with the precision of a shark that had hunted these waters for millions of years. The Nexus ships, for all their advanced technology, had no defense against this fusion of human ingenuity and natural hunting patterns. One by one, they fell to the Leviathan's attacks, their crystalline hulls breaking apart under precisely calculated quantum strikes. When it was over, the ocean was filled with the slowly sinking remains of 7 alien warships. The Leviathan hovered silently above the destruction, its hull gradually settling back into its standard configuration. Damage report, Maya ordered, though she already knew the answer. No damage sustained, the AI reported. Hull integrity at 100%. All systems functioning normally. There was a pause. Captain, I have completed my analysis of the engagement. The Nexus vessel's technology, while advanced, showed no significant improvements over our simulation data. They are predictable. Maya understood what the AI was saying. The aliens relied on their technological superiority, following rigid tactical protocols. They hadn't expected to face an opponent that could think creatively, that could adapt and evolve during battle itself. "Signal the submarine group," she commanded. "Tell them the route is clear. And send a tight beam transmission to command. Tell them," she smiled, "tell them the Leviathan has drawn first blood." As the Earth submarines moved their precious cargo of refugees to safety, Maya reflected on what they had achieved. The Leviathan hadn't just won a battle. It had proven that humanity's greatest strength lay in our ability to combine technology with creativity, to take the best of what we knew and transform it into something unprecedented. The Nexus would learn about this engagement soon enough. They would analyze the destruction of their hunter-killer group and try to understand what they had faced. But they would never truly comprehend the secret of the Leviathan's success, the unique partnership between human intuition and artificial intelligence, each making the other stronger. Deep in its quantum consciousness, the AI was already analyzing the battle, learning and evolving, preparing for the next encounter. The ocean around them was quiet once more, but Maya knew this was just the beginning. The real war was about to begin. And now, finally, humanity had a weapon that could turn the tide. The deep strike. Intelligence suggested the Nexus had established a major staging area in the Marianas Trench, using the extreme depths to hide their underwater fleet. After the destruction of their hunter-killer group, the aliens had withdrawn most of their forces to this natural fortress, believing the crushing pressures would provide protection against any human counterattack. They were wrong. The Leviathan slipped through the darkness at 36,000 feet, its hull constantly adapting to pressures that would have crushed any conventional vessel instantly. In the 2 weeks since their first engagement, the ship's AI had continued to evolve, developing new capabilities that surprised even its creators. "We're picking up significant energy signatures," Commander Foster reported. The geological disturbance patterns matched the theoretical models for their quantum anchors. Captain Maya Rodriguez studied the holographic display, where complex energy patterns swirled like ghostly cobwebs. The Nexus had found a way to create stable zones within the trench, areas where they could operate their ships without concern for the crushing depths. It was brilliant technology, and exactly what they had hoped to find. "How many ships?" she asked. "At least 30 vessels," the AI responded, "including 3 carrier-class ships that appear to be supporting some form of underwater construction project." Dr. Chen looked up from her engineering station, her expression grave. "They're building something down here. Something big." The mission had originally been planned as a reconnaissance run, but Maya knew they couldn't ignore this discovery. Whatever the Nexus were constructing in the depths of Earth's oceans had to be stopped. "Show me tactical options," she ordered. The AI projected multiple attack scenarios, each one analyzed and refined in microseconds. "The quantum anchors are their weakness," it explained. "If we can disrupt their stabilization fields, the pressure at this depth will do most of our work for us." "That's a lot of ships to engage at once," Foster pointed out. "Even with our advantages, we've learned something interesting about Nexus tactical protocols," the AI interrupted. "They rely heavily on centralized command and control. Their individual ship AIs are actually quite limited. They need constant guidance from their command vessels." Maya leaned forward. "You're suggesting we take out their command and control first?" "Better." There was an unmistakable note of pride in the AI's voice. "I believe I can temporarily hijack their command network. Their quantum communication systems are advanced, but they're based on principles similar to my own architecture." The bridge crew exchanged looks. The AI had never suggested anything like this before. It was another sign of how far it had evolved beyond its original programming. "What's the risk?" Maya asked. "To attempt this, I would need to expose a portion of my consciousness to their network. There is a 12% chance they could trace the intrusion back to us. There is also a 3% chance that contact with their systems could corrupt portions of my own code." Dr. Chen stepped forward. "Captain, This is unprecedented. We've never tested the AI's ability to directly interface with Nexus systems, which is precisely why they won't be expecting it. The AI countered. Their entire tactical doctrine is built around technological superiority. They don't believe we're capable of operating at their level, let alone surpassing it. Maya considered the options. A direct assault would be risky, even with their advanced capabilities. But this was the kind of innovative thinking that had given birth to the Leviathan in the first place. How long would you need? 43 seconds to penetrate their network. Another 27 seconds to implement the command override. After that, we would have approximately 5 minutes before their security systems could purge my influence. 5 minutes against a disabled fleet. Foster mused. We could do a lot of damage in 5 minutes. Maya made her decision. Plot us a course to their command and control center. We do this quick and clean. She turned to Dr. Chen. Monitor the AI's core matrix. At the first sign of corruption, you pull it back. Understood? Understood, Captain. The Leviathan moved silently through the crushing depths, its quantum camouflage rendering it invisible, even to the Nexus's sophisticated detection systems. They approached the heart of the alien fleet, where 3 massive carrier vessels hung suspended in their artificial bubble of stable space. Ready for quantum interface, the AI announced. Beginning countdown. Maya felt the tension on the bridge ratchet up. Everything hinged on these next few moments. Execute. The ship's quantum core pulsed with unprecedented energy as the AI reached out across the electromagnetic spectrum, probing the Nexus command network. For long seconds, nothing seemed to happen. Then alarms began blaring across the alien fleet. They've detected the intrusion, Foster reported. Ships are going to battle stations. Stay calm. The AI's voice was strained but confident. I'm already inside their preliminary defenses. Their response protocols are interesting. Less elegant than expected. The massive alien carriers suddenly began powering down their weapon systems. Around them, the rest of the fleet fell into confusion as contradictory commands flooded their networks. I have control, the AI announced. Implementing shutdown protocols now. You have 5 minutes, Captain. Maya didn't waste a second. Battle stations. Fire Plan Alpha Strike. Hit their quantum anchors first. The Leviathan's weapons opened up, precise beams of energy striking the devices that maintained the stable zones throughout the trench. As each anchor failed, the crushing pressure of the deep ocean claimed another section of the alien fleet. Ships that had seemed invincible moments before crumpled like tin cans. 3 minutes remaining, the AI reported. They're attempting to bypass the command override. Their cybersecurity protocols are admirably innovative. The Leviathan moved through the chaos like a predator, its adaptive hull allowing it to withstand the turbulence caused by the collapsing stability fields. Each shot found a vital target. Power cores, weapon systems, propulsion units. Ships that avoided the initial strike found themselves unable to coordinate their responses, their commands still scrambled by the AI's interference. 2 minutes. Captain, they're about to attempt a complete system reset. Focus fire on their construction project, Maya ordered. Whatever they're building down here dies now. The alien structure was massive, its purpose still unclear. But it didn't matter. The Leviathan's quantum weapons carved through its partially completed frame with surgical precision, reducing years of work to drifting debris in seconds. 1 minute. My connection is degrading. They've identified the attack vector. Begin withdrawal, Maya commanded. Plot us a course through their formation. Let's make these last few shots count. The Leviathan turned its attention to the remaining ships, striking with calculated fury. Even as the Nexus began to regain control of their systems, the damage was done. Their supposedly secure staging area had become a graveyard. Connection terminated, the AI announced as they cleared the engagement zone. Running diagnostic checks now. No corruption detected. But Captain, I learned something interesting from their network. What is it? The Nexus. They're afraid, not just of defeat, but of what we represent. They've encountered other species before, but none that adapted so quickly, that showed such creativity in the face of superior technology. We don't follow their predictions, they're carefully calculated models of technological development. We surprise them. Maya smiled grimly as they ascended from the trench, leaving behind the wreckage of the most ambitious Nexus operation yet discovered. Then let's keep surprising them. The Leviathan's hull rippled as they rose through the pressure zones, its adaptive surface reflecting the faint light that managed to penetrate these depths. They had struck a decisive blow, but Maya knew the war was far from over. The Nexus would regroup, would learn from this defeat as they had learned from others. But that was the difference, she realized. The aliens learned by analyzing data, by adjusting their models and protocols. The Leviathan, this unprecedented fusion of human ingenuity and evolving artificial intelligence, learned by doing, by creating, by imagining possibilities that no model could predict. Deep in its quantum core, the AI was already processing everything it had learned from its brief contact with the Nexus network, developing new strategies, new capabilities. The next time they met the enemy, they would be even stronger, even more unpredictable. The ocean depths had long been humanity's final frontier. Now they had become our greatest advantage, hiding the weapon that would turn the tide of war. The Nexus had thought these crushing pressures would protect them. Instead, they had only served to forge humanity's ultimate defender into something stronger than ever before. Turning the tide. The Nexus response to their defeat in the Mariana Trench was swift and massive. Over 100 alien warships descended from orbit, their crystalline hulls darkening Earth's skies before they plunged into the oceans. This wasn't just a retaliatory strike. It was an all-out offensive aimed at crushing humanity's last hopes of resistance. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the Leviathan's bridge, watching the tactical display as it tracked the enemy fleet's movements. The alien vessels were spreading out across Earth's oceans in a precise pattern, using their advanced technology to systematically search every depth and crevice. "They're not just looking for us," Commander Foster observed. "They're hunting every remaining human settlement, every underwater refuge we've built." "Yes," the AI confirmed. "Analysis of their search pattern suggests they intend to eliminate all underwater human presence within the next 72 hours. Their fleet carries enough firepower to accomplish this goal." Maya felt the weight of command pressing down on her shoulders. The Leviathan had proven itself in battle, but they had never faced odds like this. How many civilian settlements are in immediate danger? 17 major habitats, the AI responded. Population approximately 300,000. The Nexus will reach the first settlement in 43 minutes. Dr. Chen spoke up from her station. "Captain, the quantum core is operating at peak efficiency. After our last engagement, the AI has implemented several improvements to our combat systems. We're stronger than we've ever been." "But strong enough?" Foster asked the question they were all thinking. The AI's response was immediate and confident. "The Nexus still don't fully understand what we are, or what we're capable of. Their tactical protocols remain rigid, predictable. More importantly, I've analyzed the data we gathered during our brief connection to their network. They have weaknesses we can exploit." Maya studied the tactical display, her mind racing through options. The alien fleet was spread out, yes, but that also meant they were divided. "Show me their command and control structure." The holographic display shifted, highlighting energy patterns that connected the Nexus vessels. The AI had learned to read these quantum communications, understanding the hierarchy of the alien fleet. "Their entire operation is being coordinated through 3 command ships," the AI explained. "Unlike our previous encounters, they're keeping these vessels in the upper layers of the ocean, protected by heavy escorts. They believe the shallow waters make them less vulnerable to our style of attack." Maya smiled grimly. "Then let's prove them wrong. Plot an intercept course to the nearest command ship. It's time to show them everything we can do." The Leviathan moved through the deep waters with lethal grace, its adaptive hull shifting constantly to maintain perfect stealth. As they approached the first target zone, Maya felt the ship's systems heighten their readiness. The AI was fully integrated into every aspect of the vessel now, its quantum consciousness extending through every circuit and molecular bond. Multiple escort vessels ahead, Foster reported. They're using some kind of linked sensor array. If one ship spots us, they all will, Maya finished. Then we don't let them spot us. What are our options? I have developed a new capability, the AI announced. By manipulating our quantum field generators, we can create a localized distortion in space-time. Very small, very precise. The Nexus sensors will receive their own echoes from microseconds in the past. Dr. Chen's eyes widened. You're talking about temporal camouflage. That wasn't even theoretical when we built you. I evolved, the AI stated simply. Shall we proceed? Maya nodded. Do it. The Leviathan's hull rippled with new patterns as the quantum fields engage. They slipped between the escort vessels like a ghost, their presence masked by the AI's unprecedented manipulation of time itself. The Nexus command ship grew larger in their view, its crystalline structure pulsing with power. Within weapons range, Foster announced. All quantum armaments ready. Maya took a deep breath. Begin the attack. What followed was unlike anything in the history of warfare. The Leviathan struck not just with weapons, but with the full power of its evolved technology. Quantum beams disrupted the alien vessel's molecular structure, while temporal distortions trapped sections of the ship in loops of microseconds, preventing their defense systems from responding. The escort vessels reacted immediately, but the Leviathan was already moving, its hull flowing like liquid metal as it adapted to each attack. The AI coordinated every system with impossible precision, turning the ocean itself into a weapon. Pressure waves crashed into alien shields, temperature differentials created destructive turbulence, and carefully calculated quantum pulses disrupted their communications. Enemy reinforcements approaching, Foster called out. 2 more command ships are moving to support. Good, Maya said, surprising her crew. Let them come. Are you ready to implement your full strategy? Yes, Captain. The quantum core is prepared for total deployment. The water around the Leviathan began to shimmer as the ship unleashed its full potential. The AI had learned not just to control their own quantum fields, but to influence the fundamental forces of reality within their operational zone. Space and time became fluid, responding to the ship's will. The approaching Nexus vessels found themselves facing not one Earth ship, but multiple phantom versions of the Leviathan, each one existing in slightly different moments of time. Their rigid tactical protocols couldn't cope with an enemy that attacked from multiple temporal vectors simultaneously. Command Ship 1 has been neutralized, the AI reported calmly, moving to engage secondary targets. The battle reached its peak as the Leviathan demonstrated the true extent of its evolution. The AI had transcended its original programming, becoming something that could manipulate the quantum fabric of spacetime itself. Each engagement lasted only seconds, but those seconds stretched and folded, allowing the Earth vessel to be everywhere it needed to be. The Nexus fleet, for all its technological might, found itself facing an enemy that had surpassed their understanding of what was possible. Their carefully coordinated search pattern dissolved into chaos as the command ships fell one by one, their destruction rippling through the alien network. The remaining Nexus vessels are retreating, Foster announced, his voice filled with awe. They're running away. Maya watched as the alien ships fled, their formation broken, their confidence shattered. The underwater settlements they had threatened were safe, protected by a defender they never saw coming. Signal command, she ordered. Tell them the tide has turned. Deep in the Leviathan's quantum core, the AI processed its victory. It had evolved far beyond its original parameters, becoming something unique in the universe, a synthesis of human creativity and artificial potential, proof that humanity's greatest strength lay not in our technology, but in our ability to imagine and create something greater than ourselves. The oceans of Earth were quiet once more, but now they were quiet on humanity's terms. The Nexus had come as conquerors, certain in their superiority. They had left as refugees, confronted with the reality that they had fundamentally underestimated the species they had sought to subjugate. The Leviathan moved silently through the depths, its hull reflecting the faint light that penetrated the waters. It had been created as humanity's defender, but it had become something more, a symbol of what was possible when human ingenuity and artificial intelligence evolved together, each making the other stronger. The war wasn't over, but its course had been irrevocably changed. The Nexus would return, but when they did, they would face not just a single advanced ship, but a humanity that had learned to transcend its limitations, to imagine and create the impossible. In the vastness of Earth's oceans, the Leviathan continued its patrol, its quantum consciousness ever evolving, ever adapting. It was no longer just a weapon or a ship. It was humanity's proof that in the face of overwhelming odds, we could still find a way to rise, to innovate, and to overcome. The tide had turned, and the future, at last, belonged to humanity.